Okay, so it seems that this situation just keeps on getting even crazier. Now, this is obviously to do with the ChaChaChilla situation, where essentially there's been this kind of argument between a lot of VTubers at the moment over some pretty insane kind of accusations and stuff that ChaCha was pulling out, essentially saying that, you know, someone called her inferior on a Minecraft server somewhere, and apparently that's, you know, offensive to disabled people, which I think is pretty ridiculous considering a lot of the context and things like that. And she targeted this at a certain VTuber who is a part of the Socks Agency or whatever, and essentially, yeah, she started like messaging the CEO of Socks Agency, Flork, who obviously makes the comics and stuff, right? And again, people were not happy with ChaCha, and the post ended up getting deleted. But now what we're seeing is the kind of, you know, aftermath of this situation, and it's getting pretty insane because obviously we've had like the owner of the Minecraft SMP where this stuff happened getting involved. And by the way, if you want to know everything about the history and what happened previously, I've got 2 previous videos on this talking about exactly what the clips and stuff were, going over the original tweet and also going through a lot of the responses. So if you guys want to watch that, that will be on my channel, and I'll probably leave some things in the description as well to kind of go back to. But yeah, obviously there's been responses from Lucia, obviously one of the kind of organizers behind the server, right? And also one of the moderators that handled the ticket to do with ChaCha. And again, a lot of people have been supporting them, and everyone has been very grateful of the timeline that they've given, because it seems like, you know, a lot of this was supposed to be like targeted towards Socks Agency, and essentially was just the kind of, you know, it was just a reason for them to essentially go after them, which I thought was pretty insane. But now, obviously, if you guys haven't seen, she's been posting stuff like this, saying that, you know, she's going into the hospital and that, yeah, essentially after all the backlash, trying to farm for sympathy from a lot of people, which a lot of people are not buying. As you can see, it's got 1 million views and only 61 likes. That's pretty insane, right? A lot of people have been trying to, you know, figure out exactly, you know, what is going on with this image. Is she actually in hospital or not? Again, it wasn't very, very clear. A lot of people were pointing out the fact that, you know, she has pink hair there, which she doesn't have in any of the other pictures, but it seems like she has actually responded to some of this. So for some reason, she's been getting a lot of throne gifts at the moment. I don't know who's still supporting her, but again, that's pretty crazy. And obviously, this is the most recent one, which she says, "I'm aware of the many allegations that are circling about me. I take all of these accusations very seriously, and I'm fully prepared to address each and every one of them to ensure accuracy and transparency. I ask that anyone making a claim reply this post with the specific dates, times, and details of the events they're referring to. Once that information is provided, I'll respond to each allegation directly, thoroughly with screenshots and evidence. If those making the accusations choose not to provide this information, I will take the refusal as a lack of willingness to prove their claims. In that case, I'll be including the unverified allegations and any related conduct in upcoming legal proceedings, so the matter can be handled appropriately." So essentially what they're doing now is threatening legal kind of action against people, right, if they don't ask them exactly what went on for them to kind of respond to, which is obviously pretty ridiculous. And again, a lot of people are not, you know, buying it. They're not happy, and yeah, many people just being like, she's still behaving the same way in her Discord too. Obviously, there's been a couple of docs that have come out as well, who's saying, "I'll share the full screenshots in a bit," where she repeatedly told me I could stand. Says, "You already know the allegations. You're the one who messed up and hurt a ton of people. It's on you, not them coming to you. You haven't reached out and apologized to anyone yet, nor taken accountability for any of your actions. It's not their responsibility. It's yours. Do better." And they said, "I didn't do most of these things, and if they give me dates and times, I can prove it." And yeah, obviously a lot of people asking questions and things, and some people are just confused, like, okay, like what the hell, like legal action over this is pretty insane. And to be honest, I doubt it's gonna happen, right? I doubt, you know, any of this that they claim is gonna happen. Obviously this is heavily inflated and has gotten like way over the top at the moment. Obviously as well, yeah, this was the original tweet saying, "I'll be heading off to the hospital soon and won't have any access to my phone." Obviously the community note here saying the picture OP provided in the subtweet is not them. It is highly likely they are lying for pity. Obviously that was the community note that said that, right? They said also, "I wasn't hospitalized in under 22 minutes. I had been there since November 17th. So apparently they've been there for a while, right? And I was waiting to be transferred to a psych ward. However, the psych ward was full, so I discharged instead." Also, and then they provide proof of like November 17th emergency department, right? And again, I think that you know, they provided other things, for example, like also, yes, I have pink hair and the brown hair is a wig. So, you know, that is understandable, right? Okay, sure, they have pink hair. And hey, maybe they even actually went to the hospital or the doctors or anything, right? But the thing is, how can we really confirm that any of this is actually true and any of this is actually really going on and that you didn't have just like some kind of random checkup and you took a picture in the hospital, right? Because again, no one can prove that. No one can really, you know, change any of that. And also I find it a little bit weird considering a lot of the kind of stuff about like the psych ward and things. You know, obviously she was waiting to be transferred to a psych ward. However, the psych ward was full, so I discharged. Like, if there was really a problem, if there was actually a big problem where you had to be kind of, you know, put into a psych ward, right? Surely you wouldn't just be like, oh, well, I'll just go home. You know, that just doesn't happen. You know, obviously, yes, some places get full, but usually you should be able to find something else or find an alternative to really get there. Else, you know, there is no reason for you to go into a psych ward. There is, you know, if someone, you know, kind of transfers you there or you get transferred there, right? There is a clear reason as to why they have done that. And, you know, they don't just do it to anybody that they feel like, oh, they're going through a bit of a tough time, send them to the psych ward, right? No, you know, there is an actual reason for people to be sent there. And for some reason, you know, you just discharged instead. Now, maybe, you know, I don't understand the, you know, process or something like that. And maybe that is actually what happens. You know, people do get discharged. They're actually mentally, you know, not well, right? Maybe that is true. But again, I still think farming for it over on Twitter is one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen, right? If you have an actual issue that is going on, you're in the hospital for something like this, I wouldn't be farming it on Twitter, taking pictures, being like, guys, feel bad for me. I'm in the hospital right now. Feel bad for me. You know, it's just like a clear sympathy play. I think that is entirely what this is. Like, I don't think they are doing it because, you know, they're not asking for any help paying for bills for the hospital or anything like that, and she's trying to prove that. No, there's none of that. It's literally just, hey, feel bad for me. I've got backlash recently. I'm going to say that I'm in the hospital, and there. That's it, you know, and hoping that some people will obviously, you know, feel bad or whatever and give us some support. Now, obviously, no one felt bad because you can see at the amount of kind of, you know, tweets and stuff and the amount of likes that she's gotten compared to the amount of views she's gotten. I mean, it's pretty insane. But then obviously, yeah, we go up even further and you got, you know, posts like this that if anybody want to help, if anybody wants to help with lawyer fees, and then they leave their stream elements there, which is pretty insane, right? And obviously, as people replying as well, saying, I study law, and let me say, you'd be laughed out of court, and that's just by the judge. So it's funny because no one has provided any evidence against me. Which, again, I just think is absolutely insane. Like, people saying lawyer fees for what? Like, there isn't any actual kind of lawsuit or anything going on at the moment. Again, she's raising money. I don't know what she's raising money for. Is it, you know, to keep it for herself? I don't know. Or is she actually genuinely going to try find a lawyer? I'm not sure. But obviously, you know, with this amount of kind of vagueness, I don't think anybody is going to be donating to this or anybody is going to be supporting this because, again, you just given your stream elements link. That could go literally anywhere, right? You know, people saying, I'm gonna just leave this here, and obviously, yeah, you know, it's just them falling over. I said, bro, are you retarded or just pretending? The pro tip, if you're to sue for defamation, the burden of proof would have to be on you. You would need to provide in court that they lied, and you would have to deal with a little process called discovery. Also, your government name would be public because lawsuits are public. Then you're going to need this since you keep digging, which, yeah, they just keep digging themselves further into a hole. Like, if I was them, I would just be quiet. I would just, you know, completely stop what I'm doing, stop being stupid, and just get off of Twitter for a little bit. And then, sure, if, you know, you want to do something else, you want to, you know, continue streaming or whatever, you can come back. But, like, that's the thing, right? You're still going on about this and, you know, try to, like, provide like, lawyer fees and go down the law route. And you're going, like, in so many different directions here that a lot of people are just kind of losing it and, yeah, just not really supporting any of this that is going on. You know, there's been a lot of kind of people as well kind of reacting to this, saying, go, nobody ain't paying for your lawyer fees. You is actually mental. I'm not even being mean. I'm serious. Please get off of Twitter and turn off your phone. 100% true, right? Again, you know, got Alara here saying, girl, just stop. You want help with legal fees, but for what? Are you suing someone? Who? You expect legal support, but you're not even telling us what it's for. Do you really think anyone wants to support you after all of the things you've done to people like Apollo? Please put the phone down. Which, yeah, is 100% true, right? And again, people are pretty outraged by all of this. And finally, there was this post as well, which has been put up by someone called Apollo, which is what Alara mentioned. And yeah, this is what they said. They said, let me give you some more context. ChaChaChilla, aka Bunny Alisu, I was nice, respectful, and tried to be a friend at the time. I wanted you to get help. You harassed me and my friends for so many so many others for years. You have doxed IRL faces, names, bullied, spread lies, and got blacklisted from Mythos for a good reason. I gave them a 10+ page document. When we didn't give you what you wanted, you did revenge porn, which is absolutely insane. They said every single time I had something awesome happen to me, you got butthurt with my success early on. You shared it everywhere, and people saw that side of me. You took my power, and just 2 days before TwitchCon, where I wanted to see people for the first time, my first event. I said I had to listen to so many people saying they were on my side and that they saw it. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want that. Said, but you didn't stop there. You kept harassing me for months on end because I wasn't flinching in public. You had to make videos, accounts, and spreading it all over Mythos. I didn't feel safe anymore. I was so overwhelmed I couldn't even stream properly because of you. I lost a lot of things and it harmed me. And yeah, obviously this is coming from someone that is, seeing everything that's going on within Mythos. Mythos is a big company. Also, they follow me. I'll follow them back. There you go. There's your follow if you're watching. But yeah, essentially, it seems like they have also, been kind of affected by them. And we've heard other stories from other people as well, of them harassing people, of them following and stalking. If they want to talk about lawyers, I think they should consider, a lot of the lawsuits of, the doxing and the revenge porn and all of this kind of stuff, which, people are claiming that they're doing, right? I would consider getting your lawyers for a defense rather than an attack. I'm going to be honest, because again, there's a lot of people that are, coming out with a lot of stories about you, which is pretty insane, right? And honestly, I think it's insane. It's crazy. And I don't even know, if this is going to end, because I keep seeing more and more stories coming out about ChaCha and things that she's done under like other aliases and things like that. And that's the thing that sucks with VTubers, right? Not that VTubers suck. Obviously, I cover VTubers every single day, but I mean, it's the fact that some people are able to just change their profile, change their avatar, change their name, and then continue doing whatever. Because obviously they say here, ChaChaChilla, aka Bunny Alisu. Obviously, they went under a different name before, where they've done all of this pretty terrible stuff to these people, right? And obviously they can just get away with it because they just kind of switch their persona or whatever and just move on, which again is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know how this happened, right? And yeah, obviously a lot of people in Mythos, obviously, following up, saying much love, Apollo. So sorry. Thank you, say hugs. It says all the love to you, Apollo. The thank you, Aries, means a lot. Didn't want to say anything on your behalf. I'm so sorry you had to disclose this all over again. Always here for you. So again, a lot of people as well, kind of backing them up, including members of Socks Agency 2, kind of saying that, hey, proud of you for stepping up. This has been a painful thorn and a burden in your side for so long, and you could finally let it all out. And yeah, I mean, again, even people like Lucius Merriweather as well, putting hugs, as a horror saying, sounds pretty evil. At this point, I'm expecting a graduation into a rebrand to try and reset their kind of, reset their reputation, right? Again, ridiculous. So many people obviously commenting underneath this and kind of backing them up. And it's terrible to see that, this has affected them so much. And this has affected so many people as well, because it's gone from like this weird, like Minecraft SMP drama, which no one cared about, right? Because again, someone called them inferior, or they didn't even call them inferior. They just said the word inferior about, a faction in Minecraft, right? Which is pretty crazy. It's gone from that like stupid kind of drama to now, like, people actually coming out with full-on accusations of some pretty terrible things that ChaCha, has apparently done. And it's not, as I said, it's not just Apollo. It's more people that we've seen as well in my previous videos. If you guys have, gone back and watched those, it's been, there too. There's people saying that they're following them around Offkai, things like that, which again, insane. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more stuff that comes out. And as Azahara said there in the replies, I wouldn't be surprised if ChaCha soon goes to kind of phase 3 of this, because it's kind of gone in different phases. It's gone attack people, obviously get a ton of backlash, and claim that you're in hospital and things like that, and try to farm for sympathy. Then it's gone to, I'm going to lawyer up and I'm going to kind of, take action against people. And then I think phase 4, is going to be, I'm going to rebrand and just try to move on, and hopefully people can forget about this and I can continue to do what I do in the background, but as a different alias, and continue to reset every single time I get backlash over something, which I think is crazy. And obviously, as I said, it's all too common in this space. You know, we see it all the time with a lot of VTubers that are just like, oh, I got backlash. Okay, time to reset, time to change my avatar, time to change my username, and off they go, and they continue to affect even more people behind the scenes, which I think is crazy. I don't know how they get away with it, but apparently they do. But again, obviously, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's anything else on this situation. I thought it was pretty crazy that they were like threatening legal action and stuff. Now, again, it'd be very interesting to see, you know, how they can kind of defend against a lot of these allegations and stuff. I don't really know what's going to happen. I feel like a lot of the threats are pretty empty anyways. But again, if there's any more, I will keep you guys up to date. But if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code ChaChaChilla, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.